Zendaya. We all know Zendaya.
Who loves her?
It says Zendaya is of black, German, and Irish descent.
We seen her mother.
Right. We have Miguel, the singer. It says he is of black and Mexican heritage, right?
That makes sense.
All right, now I want y'all to spot out if y'all see anything different. So we have a color, then we have a country. Black and Mexican, all right? Zendaya, we have a color, we have a country, and we have a country. Germany, Ireland, Mexico, mixed with black. Do y'all see how that doesn't make sense? Y'all see what I'm saying?
It don't say African American or something.
It doesn't say they're from Africa.
Yeah,
it just
I mean,
says
but
black.
you know,
so
that's how the world perpetuates things.
But that's the point I'm trying to make. You see how a lot of shit we do doesn't make sense just off the we're
like
black.
Race and ethnicity.
Right. Like, what are you talking about?
But hold on, let me say this right.
Why is black the only one that doesn't have a nation or a territory associated with it?
And before you get into that,
doesn't make sense.
You're absolutely right.
This is a question I've been having for quite some time.
I'm sitting out, man, because I don't know nothing about it.
Because I've been confused about how we are grouping demographics or individuals or how we identifying people. So we have biracial people, we have black, we have white, we have Asian, we have all these ethnic groups, or technically races, because black or white is not a thing. It's a made up thing to categorize how people look, correct?
It's not a made up thing to categorize.
That's
people
exactly
do it every day.
That's exactly what race is.
I mean, it is.
That is exactly what it is.
But I mean, if that's the case, everything is man-made. And
what I'm saying is, it's a social construct that was literally made and changes. It literally changes.
I'm gonna disagree with you, but you ain't gonna put me on the spot like that.
So how are we going about? So we have like people that are mixed with a white parent, black parent in American terms, that will identify as black people, and they want to be able to use N-word and all this logic, for example. And then we have people.
That man look white.
He does look white, but based off what y'all accept, our group accepts. If your parent is black,
no.
I'm just telling you.
That man a cracker.
Listen.
Breathe.
Listen, he hasn't been counseled for saying the N-word, and he talks about his dad being black all the time.
So he just did a cover over Ice Cube. It was a good day. That shit was horrible, dog. Trash.
But then we have people like Raven Simone and Tiger Woods who say, I'm not black. And they have the biggest controversy in the world when they say these things. So what I'm trying to understand is, what are people accepting? Because if somebody that doesn't look like something can say they are something, and then somebody that does look like something can say they are not that, what are we judging basing off of? Because that's hypocritical.
Okay. Firstly, I'm going to go back to what you said at the beginning. Okay. When you said something about something is made up.
Yeah, race is a social construct that was created to identify groups of people. It's usually like
okay. You saying that...
Yo, this man is smart out here. This man be out here.
No, I mean...
Yeah, so if you look through the history of this...
that is the definition of like...
Nah,
because
yeah,
that's why back in the day, people used to look like Shawn, and women used to look like Shawn, and they used to dress up in high-dollar clothes to look like white men.
To pass. Correct.
So... Not you trying to
look like this. She did.
She put me
on. That was kind of nasty.
Yeah, I did. I'm just playing. You look like her.
But like, even if you,
it depends on who asked me.
Even if you look at the census, like people don't even know. I think African American, the term was created in like the 80s. Like that wasn't even a real thing.
I mean, it had to be created because of the whole color. People who wanted to get away from that term.
Well, it was Negro.
Mm-hmm.
It was colored.
Mm-hmm. I thought color was first.
But if you go before that,
I thought it was, but I mean, you could be right. I don't know.
Nigger, then it was Negro, then it was.
It was Negro, yeah. Mulatto was a thing at one point in time as well. It was a lot of them. I think
that was more for the white people who were white and black, and that looked more white than they were black, and that was the mulatto point, wasn't because they were so easily passed as white or whatever that white stigma was.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like the Italians and things like that, they were able to be passed as that.
Correct. So I just want to know how are we judging it? So
I mean, it's not really judgment. I mean,
no, it's a lot of judgment involved.
I could judge it all day. You can judge it all day. You can talk.
Non-alcoholic Heineken, the 0.0.
We can talk about logic up and down, left and right, back and forth. people will accept stuff, especially when it comes to celebrities. They will accept whatever if they like you. So that's how I feel when it comes to that.
Especially music-wise, if you got the slaps.
I was about to say, too.
Because, I mean, you look at Logic and Drake.
Cardi B has a controversial history about how she likes to identify herself.
I mean, Fat Joe do, too.
Fat Joe does as well. That's what I'm saying. That's a lot of...
She ain't even from here.
Oh, Iggy's different because Iggy's white. She from Australia.
But
yeah, but I mean, I think it's about
she comes down and she does things like black women. I would say.
I'm gonna say this, right. So when it comes to like, they do. So I'm gonna say this, right. When it comes to the stigma of, I'm gonna take Iggy out of here. But like, there's certain people where like, Fat Joe and like Cardi B.
Y'all New Yorkers, y'all gotta explain because it's a lot of mixing. Dominicans and all. It's a lot of mixing and matching. A lot of N-words going around there too. You know what I'm saying? Y'all accepting, y'all love them like that was your own.
Don't be pinching that face.
I'm just saying.
Alright, so I'm talking about like Logic and Drake, right? Because they have a white parent and a black parent, right? And I feel like what happens with them two, right? You have one that is liked and there's one that's not liked, right? And so, because I mean, think about this.
Logic passes more as white
than Drake does passes as there's a difference, right? And I feel like then it, like you said, it becomes who you like more. Drake makes the slaps. Drake makes the shit. Like, we love Drake music. That shit's great. Yeah. That shit's amazing. But as soon as Logic make a song, you're like, who the fuck is this?
So, and that's my thing. So what are we doing here? Because we also got the same thing. Because
this is all based off like, in my jeans
who can say the N word and who can't. Why is it a controversy when the person that's made from the same two-parent construction
I'm gonna call Fat Joe
is saying the N word versus somebody, and y'all not saying nothing about Drake saying the N word or J. Cole saying the N word. Their mothers are white.
I would say, okay, look.
All three of them, Logic mothers white too.
White.
I would say this.
I'm gonna call Fat Joe.
None of the J. Cole nor Drake makes it a deal. They don't make it a thing. They don't make their ethnicity, race, whatever, a thing. They may have said it one or two times in the song, I don't know. But the songs always are good. You look past it, whatever. Logic makes it a thing.
He doesn't make it a construct. He makes it known that he has to talk about it. Yeah. He has to go outside and say like he almost has to put in place where that he needs to make it known like, yo, I'm black. So I need to I have to tell everybody that I'm black. Instead of just making like good music, because
being half black and half white make you black? Can you identify as black? How do y'all look at it?
I say yes.
I would take a black and a white person over a Mexican.
Well, I'm talking outside of it. I'm saying
I would take them saying the N word.
I'm saying remove the N word. I'm saying how do y'all look at it? Do you consider them black?
I do.
I would take it.
Well,
I would take it. I would take it.
Yes.
You consider it? Okay.
I mean, if they feel confident in them being biracial, they just want to be biracial. Cool. If they want to be like, I'm black, like I want to.
So would you?
Hold on.
I got a follow-up question.
Hold on, I know you got to follow. Let me just say this, right? I do have that construct of it depends, because I will say that most of them, I will say they will. Yes, I take them as black, but it also depends on like a lot of other things outside of just, hey, I'm white and black, da da da. Because it's also how'd you grow up, how do you look.
That has nothing to do with your race.
That's what I'm saying. I wouldn't even go that deep. I would go with whatever you said, because it's people that I see all the time. They'll have blonde hair, blue eyes, red eyes, pink, gray, whatever, and they say I'm black. And I have a black mother and father, or both of my mother and father are biracial, or something like that. But then I also look at how I'm like, but I look at
let me follow.
But I look at how you grew up. How did you grow up?
That has no bearing.
I mean, it doesn't matter.
Sometimes it has no bearing at all.
Because right now you're hanging with a whole bunch of black people right now. Yeah. It ain't nothing but 3 black people, and then you that are looking at you, question like, are you white? But everything about you is identifying with us. So obviously you're hanging with us for a reason. So,
what?
I don't know what you say. You gotta speak up.
No, that wasn't for the camera. That wasn't for the camera.
That's my fault. Let me ask my follow-up question. If y'all see these people as black, same situation. It's a white parent, a black parent, but they say I'm white. Are they white?
like I said,
yes.
whatever they did identify as. Yeah, I said whatever they feel like they want to identify.
So they get to choose. They can be any race. So at the first half of their life, they can be white.
I mean,
the second half
no, they can't be any race.
You just said
they
you're going
can't be any race.
I agree with you. Yes, they can.
They can't be any race because we know they're biracial. They can't.
But they can.
Well, yeah.
You know why? Because they're one or the other. They're one or the other.
other.
But I mean, it's also about I feel like most of them. I mean, we're gonna take the outside looking in. For most of them, it's about what benefits them the most. When they're around a certain group of people, they're gonna identify as that. When they're around another group of people, they're gonna identify as that. For instance, if you look at and holistically and how society perpetuates things, they're gonna be white when it comes to jobs. They're gonna be black when it comes to outside partying. And when they're with us, they want to say nigga, they want to say this and that, they want to do blah blah blah. They're gonna be black with that. When it comes to hey, I'm gonna get a job, I got da. I'm white. So there's a certain field that they jump into depending on what it is, and it depends on how they grow up. And that's why I look at it everybody's gonna be different. If you grew up a certain way, you're gonna always perpetuate this certain way. It may be beneficial to you during that time if you grew up with both, but it depends on how you grow up. There's certain people that grow up in that certain light of I'm both and I don't know how it goes.
So if somebody looks black, but they want to identify as white, can they go through life being white if they look black? But biologically, their parents.
I'm gonna say on this, right? It
depends. White. One parent is mixed and one parent is white.
I'm gonna say,
but he looks black.
Hold on, let me say this, right? It's society that dictates that.
I'm asking y'all. I know society. I'm saying, as far as when y'all see them, are y'all gonna let them say they're white if they look black?
I'm gonna actually.
I mean, it's nothing that I can literally say. I can sit here.
I said, are y'all gonna see them as white?
Oh, I'm not gonna see you as that way. Even if my friend says, oh, he or she is black all day. Bro, when I see you, you look white. I don't care what you say. I know that you have a black mother and a biracial father or whatever, opposite whatever. Mm-hmm. But you look white as heck.
What about you?
I'm how I'm introduced to you as. If I know you as for instance, you can say yo, you have a black mother, you have a white father, or vice versa. How I'm introduced to you as, I'm gonna always dictate that. So if you try to change on that. If I know you from second grade on black, you're going to be black to me. And I don't care whatever you do outside of that. And so it's about the introduction for me personally.
So if this black kid...
And that's the same thing. If you know...
No, I'm asking. So in your scenario, little kid, you met him in second grade. This black kid comes up to you. And you see his parents. One parent is very yellow. Mm-hmm. And one parent is completely white. He looks yellow-black, like a light-skinned black person, but he's white. And he introduced you to himself as...
Then cool. Then if that's what you want to be, I want you to identify as that, and I want you to be that.
So, we had that, we can go back to the whole movie thing, the episode of Atlanta. That when we came to Kevin Samuels, it was black and white. It didn't necessarily show the color of the guy, but he had a white girlfriend, he hung out with white people, and they had a scholarship for people who were black. And he wanted to get the scholarship. He snuck away from his white friends to go get the scholarship to see if he can be black.
And you're absolutely right.
Hold on. So throughout that whole show, he was white
until that scholarship came.
But then after that, what he do? He got a fade, he got some chains, and all of a sudden, he looked somewhat black or mixed because of the way he presented himself.
And that's where I come in with that point of...
So when you met him then, while he was working at Best Buy, you would have thought he was mixed. You would have thought he was whatever.
And so that's where I come with the point.
But his whole life in high school, you see the high school picture?
And that's where I have that point of the identification. What do you identify as? Because I don't like the whole... Don't get me wrong. There's a difference between, there's some people that I've met that play the middle role.
They are the middle role.
They are. But no. But I've also there's very slim people that I've met in the middle role, but then I've met people who are the middle role that play one or two sides. They play with this side or this side. They either black or they white. I'm going to go with the introduction, but now I have to know how are you, because like you said, the Atlanta joint, right? How are you going about your day to day? Because you got to think about this, right? No matter what we think about it, certain people have a certain privilege in life. And certain people get by certain things, right? If you're getting by certain things with that Atlanta episode, if you were getting by that, you're going to portray that, cool, you stay on that side. And that's how I'm going to act. I'm going to act accordingly.
I don't know. That whole thing, that biracial stuff is it's like a real great area. And I know it's probably hard being a biracial person. You
think it's hard being biracial?
I feel like it is. It can be, because it's always going to be questioned. You are always going to be questioned no matter what area you're in.
Hard
it's
in
probably
what context?
Easier.
Hard in relation to what?
In relation
to a full blown?
No,
yeah,
I'm saying you have a legit full blown black person, a black mother or father, full blown white mother or father, or whatever, and they create you, and you look literally mixed. You don't look more white or more black. You just look like a mixed person.
Like, what does that look like though? That would be a little bit darker, right? So probably be like a light skin black person.
But see, I feel like
but
I'm gonna say this, right?
You have features of, so you can look like.
What does a mixed person look like? Yeah, what do you?
I can't think of. I only can think of one person, but I don't think y'all know who this is. But
I look at Logic, right? And I feel like he took on the part of, I want to be black, because of what he wanted to do. And it was because of like what was the stance of, like, for instance, right? We everybody, I'm gonna speak for myself. For where I look at people and how things with reaction to Logic, I thought he was white. Him saying, "Oh, I got a black dad," da 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 da, you would have never known. I can see that with Drake. That's different. But with Logic, I'm like, "Oh, you look white, and that's white to me." So I think what happened was he's trying to go for the black crowd. So, and like, I have to put that out there. Hold on, before you say that, I have to put that out there that I'm black. And I gotta say certain, now I'm gonna put that out there that I'm black, but now that I put it out there, I can say certain things now. I can say nigga, da 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 da. Because think about this, right? Before you get into your bag, because I know you're about to. Eminem, right? Imagine if Eminem said, "Hey, I have a black dad," right? Because nobody ever heard or know about what Eminem background besides his mom. If Eminem says, "I'm a black dad," and he wants to say nigga now. Now people gonna be like, "Oh shit!" Like, well, he said he got a black dad. Da 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 da. No, Eminem has always played the white case, and I did this and this, and I'm gonna stick to this. Da da da. Logic wanted to. I got both, and now I can say this, and now I'm gonna like perpetuate and go to this side. And the reason why he's not getting the love from this side because we don't see that or feel that. So it's more about like.
So what if Drake came out and identified as a white man? What do y'all think the reaction would be? I mean, based off what you explained, he grew up around a lot of white people. He was on the show around a lot of white people. His mom is white. He said his dad wasn't around. He was caught doing blackface.
He was.
What would y'all say? What would the reaction be?
Well, he looks black though.
That's your opinion.
He don't look white to me. He doesn't.
It's our opinion, but I mean, as a grown man now, what I would say this, right? I think the reaction will be totally different as of now in 2023 opposed to 2008 or 2000 whatever when he came out with Degrassi. I feel like the reaction is going to be two different things because now we know you, we done been through your life, supposedly we know everything about you. So yeah, it's one thing for you to be like, "Oh, I'm a white man." You're going to get clowned and there's going to be different things about it, but we kind of already fed into your life. So there's already a thing where with Drake where the tough position, we don't even look at that part. That's why everybody always says like, "Oh, you're not tough, you're not hard, the Pusha T joint, da da da," but you make good music. Nobody believes, like we had this conversation all the time, nobody believes when you go on 21 Savage song and you want to talk tough. We don't believe that you just make a good song.
I don't know. I have two people that I think y'all know who they are, that are mixed people that are different, but they have the same type of situation.
Gang.
So we just talked about Zazie Beetz.
Mm-hmm.
She's a mixer.
She's mixer.
Yeah,
she has a white and a black parent.
Mm-hmm.
She's
but
more black than white.
She looks more black. I'm asking, well, he says that.
Yeah.
To me, in my opinion, I can't speak for anybody else. I can say in my opinion.
Then you have Nicole Murphy, Eddie Murphy's ex-wife.
Mm-hmm.
She was bright as hell. Yeah.
And she got the pretty eyes and everything, the hair. But she has a African American parent and a English parent as well. Mm-hmm. So I don't know how would y'all differentiate her. She said I'm white. To a lot of white people, they would be like, "Oh, okay, girl, whatever," you know. But and if she says she black, a lot of black people like, "Okay, you look."
With that being said, let me ask you a question.
In between
if she
a lot of features
to dye her hair blonde, she was just like she had a tan. Yes.
A lot of features about her look very Caucasian.
Let me ask you a question, right? You know me, you know me. If I started identifying as other, what would that take me? Like when you look at me, what do you see?
I mean, it's hard to say that now because I know you, so it's hard to say what I see. Because I see a black person, I mean, a light-skinned person. But now, I would say, if I really probably tried to depict it, I'd probably be like, you look like Latina and black, something like that. Something about you.
If I come out but that's what I want to say, like, with that feeling, right? If I come out and say, like, I'm not black anymore. If I just start saying, like, yo, I'm this.
Right.
What would how do you feel? Like, what is your thought? Because, I mean, that's the same thing that you're kind of asking us, like, now, since it's somebody that's close to y'all, who's kind of in that, what would your thought be? What would your perception? What is your, how are you taking about this?
First off would be like, what are you telling me this for? Like, why do you why do you feel like we don't accept you as who you are? Like, you being whatever? Because we never really brought it to attention anyway, but are you having issues with it or something else? Like,
that should be funny.
But that would be my first reaction. Like, okay, let's do it.
I'm like, all right. You finally know who you are. Okay, next.
I don't know. But
I would just be like, I mean, I know. Nigga, you're Panamanian. So I know. Your mom's Panamanian. You're Panamanian. So that would be my reaction.
Okay, fair enough. But that's how I feel about, like, most. Like, it's kind of like, all right, what's next? And that's how I feel like about where I feel like we had this conversation earlier where it's more like the celebrities are they're heightened more than regular people. Of course, you know what I'm saying, they kind of like media and everything dictates what's next, whatever. But that's like another thing where it's kind of like, yo,
you doing some stuff like how this sounds crazy. I hope
no race baiting.
I can't see my face, but like the whole non-binary thing, like. I want to be they, them. I don't, like, you're taking everything about you out of you. Like, this is getting to a whole nother thing. Like, okay, now you saying you want to be Chinese? Like, I don't even get it. Like, you know what I'm saying? It becomes one of those, like.
No, I agree, but that's how I feel like, what about, again, like, when we're saying how, like, it's the celebrity thing type. It's like, I feel like certain things are just brought out of proportion, where it's kind of like,
I'm gonna just read a couple things.
Go ahead, say it.
So, Zendaya, we all know Zendaya.
What up, sir?
It says Zendaya is of black, German, and Irish descent.
We seen her mother.
Right. We have Miguel, the singer. It says he is of black and Mexican heritage. Right.
That makes sense.
All right. Now I want y'all to spot out if y'all see anything different. So we have a color, then we have a country. Black and Mexican. Alright? Zendaya, we have a color, we have a country, and we have a country. Germany, Ireland, Mexico, mixed with black. Do y'all see how that doesn't make sense? Y'all see what I'm saying?
It don't say African American or something.
It doesn't say they're from Africa.
Yeah,
it just says
but
black.
you know,
so
that's how the world perpetuates things.
But that's the point I'm trying to make. You see how a lot of shit we do doesn't make sense just off the we're
like
black.
Race, ethnicity.
Right. What are you talking about?
But hold on, let me say this right.
Why is black the only one that doesn't have a nation or a territory associated with it?
And before you get into that,
doesn't make sense.
You're absolutely right. because we
got to start saying what we are.
We done had the conversation before and after but the conversation is never going to get old until we as a people come together and say what we are and how we go by and identify as and actually make a stand on it. It's never going to change. We're always going to just be, you're a color, you're black. I mean, we just talked about it, how, the colors went from Negro to black to African American to da 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 da.
And then